What's Crack-A-LAckin? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
What's Crack-A-LAckin? Let's dive into week 11. Welcome into another episode of My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Sleaze. Today, we're going to be looking at my top 10 waiver wire pickups heading into week 11. All these players are owned in under 50% of leagues. I'm going to cover every single position here: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. I'm going to give you a little trick play here if needed as well, and a little bonus player at the end, guys. And I'm going to give you the waiver order and fab I would use on these players as well, and how they can help you moving into this week. Now, before we dive into it, guys, as always, make sure you tap that thumbs up, hit that subscription button, turn that bell on. I'll be live Thursday. I do have the family coming into town, so I'm cranking content like crazy out for you guys because I don't know how this weekend's going to play out with all them flying into town here, but we'll get it all out to you guys, I promise. And if you haven't checked out drafters.com or the Guys FF Discord, both those are pinned in the comments in the description of the video. We cover everything with Big Draft Energy, fantasy football, off stream, 24/7 for you guys in there if you guys need. And let's dive in to my week 11 players you should be targeting tonight on your waiver wires. Starting off with the waiver wire pickup number 1 that was on a buy and dropped in mainly most of the leagues and is still owned at under 50%. And is crazy to me is Joe Flacco. And you do see the Joe Burrow picture there as well. This is what I was talking about as a little sneak attack. I mean, hopefully you guys followed my Twitter, because you should have done it yesterday so you didn't have to wait for the waiver wire because they were on a buy, and you could have snagged Joe Burrow. So, I mean, if Joe Burrow is out there, you are definitely snagging this guy 100%. The return date is week 13. It is set 2 games away, but you are going to get Joe Flacco for 2 games, and this guy's been absolutely unbelievable with the Cincinnati Bengals since week 6. I mean, his points are just bonkers, guys. 23, 31, 30, 39. Unbelievable what he can do with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins out there, and Chase Brown getting involved in the pass game as well. So when you're looking at these stats, remember, he played 4 of these games for the Browns and never even cracked 15 points. So 335 pass attempts, 205 completions, 2,069 yards. Completion percentage has been great since joining the Bengals. Again, it was very bad with the Browns, so 61.6, number 26. 13 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, but since joining the Bengals, guys, here is the number that is the good thing to look at. He has 11 touchdowns and 2 interceptions with the Bengals, so that shows you right there how bad it was with the Browns. He's even put in a rushing TD, which is crazy at age 41. He's throwing the number 6 deep balls in the NFL at 39, which is insane. 48.1 QBR. Again, he started with the Browns. It was rough. And 133.6 points. He is QB1. And you're going to get the Pittsburgh Steelers this week with a 48.5 over-under. And the Steelers versus the quarterback are very bad. They rank 26th, giving up 19.8 points. This is kind of a must-win game here, too, for the Bengals if they want Joe Burrow back in 2 weeks. And this guy's been unbelievable, man. The amount of fab you should spend if you need, it's a must-win right now. This is like a 50% fab pickup for me and a top 5 waiver order if he is out there. And again, remember, if Joe Burrow is there, stash him on your IR right now. Waiver wire QB number 2, and we are going to get a little frisky here. And I'm not going to go with Russell Wilson and Jackson Dart. You know, he went down with the concussion. That's his 4th concussion he's been tested for on the year. This guy is taking too many hits for your franchise superstar quarterback. And I'm going to go with Jameis Winston. We saw Russell Wilson come into that game with a 10-point lead last week and absolutely just get throttled and look like probably the worst starting quarterback I've seen for like a quarter and a half there. It was absolutely terrible. So when I'm looking at Jameis Winston here, yeah, you're going to get the Green Bay Packers. You know, could be a fill-in game. There's 2 teams on a bye, the Colts and the Saints this week as well. But you know, when you get Jameis Winston, you get Joe Flacco-esque type numbers. This guy is going to chuck it up across the yard, and they're not going to be able to run much against Green Bay. You know that with Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary. So obviously, Jameis Winston hasn't played a single game, no stats at all this week. And obviously, you know, you saw the Packers defense last night look very, very good on Monday Night Football because that's what they are. They're a damn good defense. And they average 15.6 points against the quarterback, which ranks 8th. So, yeah, it's not amazing pickup. I wouldn't use crazy waiver wire fab, you know, if you're like down Brock Purdy. I do think Purdy might be back this week as well. But if you need a fill-in quarterback, dude, Jameis Winston, if he gets the job, and I know there's no neighbors, doesn't matter. This guy will just sling the rock. So waiver wire priority, maybe not a lot here. This is one of my, sneaky kind of calls this week because I do think Jameis Winston will get the job if Dart sits because Russ looked freaking absolute hot garbage, man. So waiver wire priority, maybe last, if any. Fab, maybe 1%, if any. This is a dart throw call of mine that I really, really like a lot if Winston gets the nod. Number 3 is going to be J.J. McCarthy of the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I know it hasn't been pretty on offense for the Vikings, but we're going to look at his small sample size here because he only played 4 games this year, right? He got hurt in week 2. So 105 pass attempts, 58 completions, 692 yards, 53.7 completion rate, not great there. 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. And you want the TDs over interceptions for sure. But this is his first year starting, and this is only 4 games in. Small sample size, right? So 21 attempts, 110 yards. You like that? The rushing on the ground, that's like 25 to 30 yards a game. They're almost 2 rushing TDs. Deep balls, he's only thrown 6. Again, small sample size. QBR 24, very bad there. Got to come up. And he's QB 35. Now, you're going to get the Chicago Bears here, right? And you're looking at this game as the Bears just keep winning in crunch time, right? So the over-under is 48.5, so it's a high implied point total game. But the Bears' defense is decimated. They're going to be at home in a dome. There's no weather here in Minnesota. The Bears give up 21 points to a quarterback a week, ranking 27th. Justin Jefferson with 12 targets last week. They weren't that catchable. J.J. McCarthy's got to be better. You have Addison. You have Hawkinson. You have Aaron Jones. And you have to look at the schedule ahead. Like, this isn't just a waiver wire pickup. This is a low-end QB1 with his rushing upside in the schedule ahead. So they're going to get Green Bay, which is tough, then Seattle. Then they get Washington, Dallas, Giants, Detroit, Green Bay. His schedule is very, very pass advantageous. So if you're looking, to spend and get a solidified QB2 on your roster, I would probably go waiver wire order like 6 to 9 or 7 to 10 on him. And probably about 10 to 15% because he does give you that rushing upside and he has so many weapons. Kevin O'Connell is going to make this work. Heading over to the running backs at number 4, and this is just crazy to me what is going on with Bijan Robinson and the Atlanta Falcons. I cannot make it make sense. But Tyler Algier gets both touchdowns last week, gets the red zone work, gets 11 carries for 57 yards and plays 37% of snaps and drops 17.7 points. So, when I'm looking at Tyler Algier here, and when you're looking at his stats on the season, 74 attempts, 270 yards, 3.65 yards per carry, touchdowns 6, which is the big number there because he can always punch one in. 5 receptions, 20 yards, doesn't do much in the receiving game, receiving touchdowns 0. And again, look at his snap share, 27.2%, not great. Target share, not great, doesn't catch the ball. But here's the number, red zone touches, 17. That's top 30 in the NFL for a split or a timeshare running back that's like 30%, so it's not really a full timeshare. That's an amazing amount of touches. And he's RB40 with 70 points. Now you're going to get the Carolina Panthers run D, who's just been getting absolutely gashed by the run lately. And you just saw Alvin Kamara, who we all pretty much had on the bench, destroy the Carolina Panthers run defense right after, I forgot who it was that went absolutely bonkers on them the week before. Again, if I own Bijan Robinson, I'm probably spending more because I want to make sure I have my handcuff here. But you're probably looking at a sleeper play touchdown upside here against the Carolina Panthers, and the Falcons are in must win. So it's very, very strange to me. Like, they should be giving the ball to their superstar. Give the ball to Bijan Robinson. I don't understand what's going on, but at this rate, when you're getting, 10 plus touches and all the red zone work, Tyler Algier could give you a touchdown this week in your flex play against a very, very bad Panthers run D that does rank 10th, but they've been dropping drastically versus the run over they don't rank 10th versus the running back, or that's versus the quarterback. Sorry. Let me pull it back up here as we're going through. They've dropped from number 7 to number 16 over the past 2 weeks versus the run. That's how bad they have been. So Tyler Algier, if I own Bijan, I'm spending more, but I'd probably go, waiver party 5 to 8. I'd probably go 8 to 12%. And again, if I have Bijan, I'd bump it up more. And at this rate, he probably gives you another touchdown this week, which is crazy to me. Number 5, running back number 2, and this is the same thing as Tyler Algier here. It is going to be Blake Corum. And I'll throw this out there as well, guys. If Trey Benson's on your waiver wire, drop a cupcake emoji on your league and make sure you pick up Trey Benson. I forgot to say that as well. But in competitive leagues, or even half competitive leagues, he shouldn't be on waiver wires. But Blake Corum style here. So this guy is getting a massive amount of touches, guys. And it's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger since week 7. They have just started to lean on a kind of timeshare situation. but they have had good game scripts in the way too. So I'm not saying Kyren Williams isn't the guy, but if I own Kyren, I'm trading for Blake Corum, or I am trying to acquire him off the waiver wire 100%, because this guy has had 12 plus touches in 3 straight games. 12 for 37, 13 for 58, 13 for 56. That's a lot of work. And you saw him get the red zone work as well last week. He didn't score at the 2-yard line, but he got the opportunity chance to. And then, of course, Kyren punched it in. But when you're looking at it, so these numbers are, again, he's been playing under 30% the whole season besides the last 3 weeks. So 67 attempts, 407 yards. That's great. 4.58 yards per carry. That is great as well. 1 touchdown on the ground, 15 receiving yards. Doesn't get a lot of work there. 23.3% snap share. That tells you right there. But again, the last 3 weeks, it's been 34, 38, 39. So it's going up. Target share 2.6. Red zone touches 9. Of course, it's going up lately. And 42.2 RB 53. Now you're going to get the Seattle Seahawks here in this game. So I don't think it's going to be as much as a, split backfield in this game, because I think the game script's going to be a lot different here. But why you have to pick up Blake Corum isn't just the fact to handcuff Kyren. This guy is a top 3 handcuff that's still owned in under 50% of leagues, which is crazy. So if Kyren, and God forbid anything happens injury-wise, you don't get a timeshare running back backup here. Blake Corum would be the full-time go guy here, right? You're not going to get Jarquez Hunter mixing in. You know that Sean McVay is a one-trick pony, even though he's trying to sprinkle in Blake Corum here. But again, that was versus the Saints and the Niners, and they had those games in hand. So waiver wire priority probably around 6 to 8, 6 to 9 with him as well. Probably 8 to 12% fab as well here. And again, if I own Kyren, I'm upping those numbers 100% because this is a monster handcuff to have. Number 6, heading over to the wide receiver side. And if you guys have been subscribed to my channel for the past couple years, I have been talking about Adonai Mitchell out of Texas, how much I love this guy, and get him out of the turmoil of the Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, Alex Pierce situation. And the New York Jets said, let me send you a fleecing trade for Sauce Gardner for 2 firsts and grab Adonai Mitchell at the same time. And why the situation is probably going to draw a lot of heat and comments from you guys of the Jets haven't been passing the ball and Justin Fields. I get all that, but they also played the Cleveland Browns last week, which is a very, very tough matchup, right? So, yeah, they're going to get the New England Patriots here. But what you have to look at is the Patriots defense is lights out as well, so it's not great. But this is why I liked Garrett Wilson all year long, who Garrett Wilson, my guy, of course, re-injures his knee out into the 3 to 4 weeks. Adonai Mitchell is looking at wide receiver 1 opportunity off a trade. Are you going to buy that Arian Smith is the wide receiver 1 or Alan Lazard? No, I am not. They are going to see what they have in Adonai Mitchell. And even if the pass game is ugly for now, you have to look at the situation as garbage time points. This guy's 23. They're going to find out what they have made of him, and they're going to be playing from behind probably in the rest of the season. New England, Baltimore, Atlanta, Miami, Jacksonville, Indy, Buffalo, all playoff teams, all ridiculous situations. And say Tyrod Taylor comes in, ups his potential either way. So this is a monster pickup situation here where I like it as like a top 4 to 5 waiver priority and 20-30% here, because you might have a wide receiver 1 playing 90% of snaps for 3 to 4 weeks with Garrett Wilson gone. And again, the passing volume of playing from behind is going to be there. I know it's been ugly. I didn't think they'd have 2 punt returns in that game. So it kind of changed the game script. It's going to be a lot different. And yeah, I know I'm going to get a lot of comments of Justin Fields and they don't pass a lot. That's going to change, guys. That's not how it's going to go for the rest of the season. I know it's been ugly for now, but Adonai Mitchell is so talented. This guy had a 9.99 RAS score coming out of Texas, which is like top 5 of all time in NFL history. He is an athletic specimen. Watch what he can do when he gets a chance. Number 7, wide receiver number 2 is going to be none other than the Oregon speedster Tez Johnson, who absolutely exploded against the New England Patriots last week. Played the most snaps of the season at 83%, put up 4 catches, 42 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And usually he's more of a deep bomb threat guy, and you saw him getting red zone looks, which is a very, very good sign for him. And we already know that Bucky and Chris Godwin are already out for week 11. And who knows what is going on with the injury updates in Tampa Bay right now. It is unbelievable. So you're looking at a wide receiver 2 with Baker Mayfield and a high-powered offense here. So, I mean, when you're looking at his stats here, remember, he didn't even play the first 5 weeks of the season. So you got to, or he did play, but very, very limited, right? 14, 19% snaps, or 29, 32. Not very good. So week 6, he turns it up into 72, 68, 71, and he's been averaging 13 points a game since. It's been absolutely phenomenal. So when you're looking at his stats here, 64 targets, 37 receptions, 385 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's great. 11.2 target share. Again, he hasn't been out there a lot. Snap share 44.9. That was 83% last game. Route participation 53.7. That was 85 last game as well. 1 red zone target. Again, he got the red zone look, which is weird for him. I didn't think he would with his 5'10", 160 frame, but he got the touchdown in the back of the end zone. And then 69 points. He's wide receiver 52 on the season. Now, you're going to get the Buffalo Bills here. And you know the Buffalo Bills coming off that loss are pissed off 100%. I cannot believe they lost to the Miami Dolphins in that game. So when you're looking at the Bills in a possible shootout matchup here, I mean, the over-under 51.5 probably going to go up by then. I mean, what you got to think with how the game script's going to play here. And then when you look at the Bills, they middle of the pack. They rank 15th or 13th versus the wide receiver. They're going to be focused on Emeka Egbuka. This is going to be a chance for Tez to hit another one. And if you need the flex play, I'd love this as a flex play this week, especially in the matchup. So waiver wire order, I'd go 4 to 6 range. I go 15 to 20%. And honestly, I'm going to say that he's even a startable flex play this week that you can get out the waiver wire right now. Number 8, wide receiver. Number 3 is going to be Parker. My guy, Washington, called the anytime touchdown last week. Didn't think he put in a punt return touchdown to go as well with it and drop 18 points. But what you have to look at with the Jacksonville Jaguars here, and I know BTJ could be back. I don't think he's going to be with that ankle injury either way. But this is Parker Washington and the Travis Hunter, Liam Cohen slot role. And what has happened the past 3 weeks? He's had 10 targets, 9 targets, 7 targets, 10 points, 17 points, 17 points. That is exactly what you want from your flex wide receiver. And he's not going to change that role anytime soon until the wide receivers are back off injury, which should be, in my opinion, like 2 to 3 weeks, probably 2-3 weeks for Hunter, maybe a week or 2 for BTJ. BTJ can be back this week, but that ankle injury, man, I don't know how they thought that he'd be back in like one game. His ankle flopped back and got landed on really, really bad. So if he's out there, he's a hero in my opinion. I don't think he's going to be. So when you're looking at Parker Washington stats, again, remember, very, very limited to start the season. So 44 targets, 25 receptions, 297 yards. He's got 2 receiving touchdowns. That is wrong. I think I might have actually the wrong card up here. 51 targets, 28 receptions, 330 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. So I messed that up. And a punt return TD. Target share 13.9, snap share 60.9, route participation 51.3, red zone targets 2, deep target, there you go, 9 deep targets, number 26, that is great, and he's wide receiver 42 on the year. So if I'm looking at the waiver wire, I need a flex play, which he can be 100% again here. You are going to get the Los Angeles Chargers, and what do the Chargers rank right now versus the wide receiver? They rank number 2, so it is a tough matchup, but the slot is where they get beat. So that is where Parker Washington is going to thrive. So if I need to throw out, I'd say waiver priority like 7 to 10 range, probably, 8 to 12, maybe 8 to 15%. If it's desperation, you could throw more because you need to throw out a flex play. The volume is just too hard to ignore. The connection with T-Law is too hard to ignore. When you're seeing this many targets, and I'm a volume guy, I'm always like that in fantasy football. When you're seeing 10, 9, 7 targets in 3 straight games, dude, that's better than like DK Metcalf numbers. Like that's how much he's looked at. That is why I like Parker Washington a lot. That's why I said to start him last week. And thank you. Drop it in the comments if you were in my show for the start sit when I said Parker Washington is going to smash last week. Absolute money there. So go get this guy on the waiver wire, man. Number 9, wide receiver number 4, and this one is crazy. So I'm, starting to think here that we might have like a battle for wide receiver 1 in the Indianapolis Colts with Michael Pittman. Although I know Michael Pittman's numbers and points are way higher than Alex Pierce. That's a given, right? But, I mean, we just have to look at this right now, right? So let's look at since week 5, and Alex Pierce got hurt in week 3, and he missed 2 weeks in week 4 and week 5, right? Let's just look week 5 on, okay? He's played 81, 87, 81, 91, 95% of the snaps. He's had 4 targets, 10 targets, 5 targets, 13 targets, 7 targets. Found the end zone last week versus Atlanta. 18 points, 17 points, 15 points, 9 points, 7 points. He's becoming Danny Dimes' like go-to guy as they focus on Josh Downs and they focus on Michael Pittman. They have to worry about Tyler Warren. You got Jonathan Taylor, who is going to just freaking destroy fantasy football this year and possibly chase Saquon Barkley's year last year, right? The weapons are everywhere. Danny Dimes, this is their vertical threat. This is their guy that can go deep, right? So when I'm looking at Alex Pierce, it's not like it's sexy to me because it's a bye week right now, but you're going to get Kansas City off the bye. And, off the bye week, you're probably not going to see a lot of people see his name at the top. So it's kind of a secretive ad, right? Unless, I guess, if you look at transactions, it'll probably show him at the top if he's available in your league. So waiver wire priority here, this is kind of sneaky again because people aren't going to spend a lot of fab for a bye week guy, right? So I would probably go, 7 to 10 waiver priority on him. And I'd probably go, 15, 18% fab on him because you got a schedule coming ahead off the bye where it's going to be a lot of points are going to need to be scored here. You're going to get the Kansas City, the Texans, the Jacksonville Jaguars, Seattle, San Francisco, Jacksonville Jaguars, Houston. Some very advantageous past matchups as well. And you don't really have to look at the matchups even like it's bad because there's so many weapons out there for the Colts that he's just going to be vertically gone. Like, poof. And he's a speedster. So I really, really love the sneaky addition of Alex Pierce this week. Number 10, you knew we had to throw a tight end here, and make sure you listen to the end of the video for another sneaky tight end as well. And it's going to be Dalton Schultz. And it's absolutely bonkers to me that this guy is tight end 11 with 94.8 points. You just had Davis Mills at quarterback, and he just put up 21.8. And since week 3 to week 11, or week 10, sorry, he's a top 10 tight end at tight end 9, averaging 11.9 points per game. He's putting up 21, 16, 5, 23, 13, 10, 10, 11. That is not what I expected from Dalton Schultz. Unbelievable. So now you're going to get the Tennessee Titans this week, which we're looking at the matchup. Again, we don't know if it's going to be Davis Mills or if it's going to be C.J. Stroud. Could they try and hold C.J. Stroud to concussion thinking they could beat the Titans with their defense one more week? I could see that happening. So when you look at the Tennessee Titans versus the tight end on the season right now, they are coming in at, and I'm trying to find them as we're going through, they rank 10th, giving up 12 points a game, which is exactly what you would want from your tight end with Dalton Schultz. And if you need a waiver wire pickup for him right now, and it's not sexy, man. And I know Cade Stover's coming back off IR here, which could put him back into the situation like week 1 and week 2 where he played 50% of the snaps. So, and I just don't know if I trust him, but goddamn, he's on fire. It's like he's got to be picked up. So I'd go, 9 to 11 range, 8 to 10 range. If you're desperate, maybe 7 to 9 range waiver order. Fab, probably, 8 to 12%. You could go 6 to 10% if you want because it's just Dalton Schultz and people just don't like the guy. But he is absolutely producing right now. And it's hard to ignore. And it's crazy to say it, but I'm gonna put Dalton Schultz on my waiver wire pickup because he's earned it and he's been killing it. Thanks for rocking with me today, guys. That is the end of the episode. That is my top 10 players you should be picking up on your waiver wire. And a bonus player I'm going to throw in, like I said at the beginning, is going to be Brenton Strange at tight end, who's going to be activated for his 21-day window here. So if you need tight end help here down the stretch, that is a backup pickup. Not a backup, a starting tight end backup for your roster you could pick up as well, guys. Now, before you head out, make sure you tap that like and subscribe if you haven't already. Turn that bell on so you know when I'm live, so you know when my videos go up. And if you haven't checked out drafters.com or the guys FF, again, both those are pinned in the comments in the description of the video. My next video is going to be defense rankings and kicker rankings, and we'll dive into sleepers and smash starts, and we're trying to get that all out today. And then tomorrow we'll get into start sits, and then Thursday we'll drop all the rankings, and then that will probably be it for me for the week because, again, the family's coming into town, guys. That's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed all the content. You guys have been absolutely amazing. The best fantasy football community on the planet. I can't thank you guys enough. I'll catch you guys in the next episode, man. Sleazebomb out.